Boothroyd. Burkhar's behaviour is disgusting, absolute and utter disgrace. Now, the reason I actually quite like Boothroyd is because when she was leaving as her post as House Speaker, she, in her closing remarks, she reminded everyone that the Bill of Rights is still in full effect. Since then, of course, they've done the best to destroy it because they can't have us having anything that we can use as a weapon against them. And the Bill of Rights, it's not a weapon, it's a way of saving yourself. But they've done the best to destroy that. However, Burkhar's brazen behaviour has not just been infuriating Tory MPs. Earlier today, the highly respected former Speaker, Baroness Boothroyd, was overheard in the corridors of Parliament reportedly telling a senior Tory MP that Burkhar's actions were disgusting and absolute utter disgrace. Guido's well-placed sources says the esteemed Baroness looked visibly shocked at the events unfolding. One Tory MP is adamant that several pages of what looked to be parliamentary guidance were removed from the desk in the Commons and taken away during the lengthy points of order session where Burko was repeatedly challenged. Another traitor, treasonous bastard. Vitamin B17 is the greatest cover-up in the history of cancer. It has been becoming increasingly apparent in recent years that there are a number of alternative cancer treatment methods which have proven to either eradicate cancer cells on their own or even assist with the more traditional method of chemotherapy and radiation. Many of these alternative treatments do not get the recognition that they deserve from their either mainstream media or mainstream medicines. In fact, it may state in many states, alternate cancer treatments have been banned or made illegal, and according to the law, one can even be forced to undergo chemotherapy against one's will. It is important to note, however, that choosing one of these natural alternate cancer treatments does require you to do a lot of research, because there is very little funding or merit allotted to the study, because they can't make millions and billions of pounds out of natural remedies. And apricot kernels is one of the main places you can get B17. And of course the scaremongering traitors will come out and say, but that creates cyanide. It does create a form of cyanide, amygdala, which is not poisonous to the human body, but it is poisonous to cancer cells. So before the fear-mongering lying scumbags get out there and try putting you off, apricot kernels, which they are trying to ban in this country because it cures cancer naturally, and they can't make billions of pounds profit from it. 5G, the most censored story of 2018. Journalist masterfully educates Houston City Council. The facts. Derek Brose, a journalist and activist, recently presented to Houston about the new proposed 5G network. He points to multiple studies and scientists outlining serious health concerns for all. Reflect on what can you do to mitigate this. There are solutions presented in the article, but are you taking any? How can our regulatory agencies approve a technology that's so harmful to human biology? What is going on here? Well, I can tell you what's going on here. It's probably their final attempt to depopulate the planet before enough become aware and change everything. We start locking the criminals up, and that's what they're terrified of, because they know it's coming. The 5G network is new, and it's being accepted, approved and implemented already without any appropriate safety testing nor discussion with the public. It's an energy weapon. Priorities in Parliament. Only 14 MPs showed up to debate extreme poverty in the UK. The rest were too busy scoffing down their Bollinger and snacking on the beluga caviar. Ending poverty doesn't seem to be a top priority for British MPs, as only 14 of them showed up to attend a parliamentary debate on the UN report urging the government to address the burning problem. MPs were supposed to debate the findings of the United Nations report of extreme poverty and human rights in Northern Ireland on Monday, but the House of Commons remained almost emptied to the debate as the debate got underway. And there's a picture. They don't give a shit about us. All they care about is claiming their expenses, waffing down the caviar, waffing down the Bollinger, and they couldn't give a shit if you freeze to death or whatever, as will become apparent later. Halal Horror House as undercover video exposes cruel abattoir filled with terrified animals. In a slaughterhouse awash with blood, a frightened bullock's eyes widen in fear as the machinery it is trapped in raises its head so that a knife-wielding butcher can hack open its neck. Seconds later, as the animal kicks out in pain and panic, a bolt is shot through its brain to stop it injuring workers, who yank it upside down onto a hook, blood gushing from its twisting carcass. In another area of the killing floor, cameras capture sheep being ferried along a metal pen where a worker casually lifts their throats and slashes their throats open. They are so distressed as they begin bleeding to death, they wriggle over the side and have to be hauled back in, legs flailing and piling up at the end of the slow dive. The chilling footage was taken during an investigation into slaughterhouse which supplied Morrison's. Watch the video. Watch the video. Big rise in UK energy bills likely this spring despite price cap. Government defend possible increase in default tariffs paid by millions of households. See, the government are defending the increase because they've all got shares in the companies. Millions of consumers face a big rise in their energy bills from April when an increase in the new price cap is likely to take effect. The energy regulator has warned. Around 11 million households on default tariffs saw their bills capped last week in a huge shake-up of the market, resulting in an average saving of £76. But Dermot Nolan, the chief executive of Ofgem, said customers should be ready to pay much more when he publishes an updated level of the ceiling in February, which will take effect in April. Wholesale costs has risen significantly over the past year. Bullshit. As a result, it is likely we will announce an increase, potentially a significant one, on the level of the cap, he told the industry audience in London. In other words, they're just creaming us more and more. They could cut prices so dramatically, but that would affect the shareholders. That's what this is about, the shareholders, the likes of the Queen, who really needs the money. Labour MP calls for reform to rogue bailiff complaints system. Reports find just 30% of those who experience rule-breaking make formal complaints. A Labour MP has urged the government to make it easier to challenge rogue bailiffs after a report found few people made formal complaints despite huge numbers saying rules have been broken. The government know this is going on and they don't give a shit. And if you have any dealings with bailiffs, report them. The more reports, the more problems it causes for them. UK councils invest £566 million in arms firms linked to Yemen war. Exclusive. Workers' pensions put into companies implicated in deadly Saudi campaign. Councils need to be shut down. The executive branches need to be imprisoned in jail until we've investigated their evil corruption. And if once it's found that they are totally and utterly corrupt, they can stay in jail until their term in court, where they will hopefully be sentenced to a long jail term. Any money, any pensions must be confiscated immediately as profits from war. French Prime Minister proposes government registry for demonstrators. Can you believe this shit? They now want you on a register so they can find you and they can make sure you don't go to any protests. Following a large turnout throughout France for the 8th week, the following yellow vest, Gilets jaunes protests this past Saturday, French Prime Minister Edouard Philippe announced on French television Monday night the imposition of an extraordinary law to suppress the demonstrations. Taking up measures initially put forward by the neo-fascists, he proposed that demonstrators be placed on government supervisors lists and subject to financial sanctions. This is showing you France is in an utter dictatorship, along with the European Union, which is run as a dictatorship. If you want to read the rest of it, it's a long article and it exposes the traitors in France and the French government. Further attack on travellers. RAC warns drivers who leave their car running to de-ice the windscreen that they face a £40 fine for breaking the law in UK's cold snap. It's not a law, it's statutes and acts. Leaving car engines running while defrosting is technically a road traffic crime. No, it's not. If caught, drivers will be fined £20, which doubles if not paid within time frame. And that's what they do. They'll do some fake fine and they'll say, but if you pay quickly, you don't challenge it, just pay up like a good little slave, it'll be 20. But if you don't, it'll rise to 40. You know, do as you're told or we're going to increase the fine. It's a frigging dictatorship. Insurance company also likely to refuse payout if car stolen while de-icing. Leaving car running to defrost the windscreen is actually a crime. No, it's not a crime. That should land you a fine of up to £40, RAC has warned. The common technique is considered an offence under Section 42 of the Road Traffic Act. See, it's statutes and acts, not law. 1988, despite the fact most drivers use it to be safer on the road. If caught by police, motorists could be forced to pay a fixed fine of £20, which doubles if it's not paid within the time frame. It's a dictatorship in this country, just like in France, just like in Europe. We are in a dictatorship, and if we don't stop it, they are going to start exterminating us, although they already have started exterminating us via the hospitals. Shocking new pictures lay bare scale of NHS body part scandal inside waste disposal firm facing criminal probe after following amputated limbs to build up a huge stockpile. Mountains of clinical waste pictured at disposal site in Benton, North Tyneside. Ex-employees say site is plagued with flies attracted to the smell of rotting waste. Bags filled with infectious waste such as filthy needles seen piling up of bins. Fridges full of human heads, torsos and limbs said to be stockpiled at the site. Healthcare Environment Services is now at central of criminal investigation. Now this is what happens when you privatise anything. When the NHS dealt with this itself, it all ran smoothly. But when you privatise it, what do they do? Come on, what's their number one thing? Make profit for the shareholders. And that means, well, cutting corners. As we can see in this picture, I've got some pictures. Look at this. Look at the amount of body parts and stuff that's here. And in this picture here, more. And here we have more. Look, just look at these body parts. It's an utter disgrace. Privatisation does not work. Has never worked. The prices go up, the service goes down. Happens every time. Just look at the rail. Look at anyone taking rail journeys now. The price has gone through the roof. They're unreliable. They don't turn up. That's privatisation. We need to get rid of privatisation and put someone in charge that actually wants to do the job without hiking prices. Households come up against smart meter brick wall. Energy firms harass reluctant customers and refuse to remove unwanted meters. In that case, you write them a letter, you give them a time scale, you decide what it is, whatever you think's fair. If they haven't removed it by that time, you get someone to remove it yourself and fit your own meter. One reader was told they can't have their smart meter removed even though they never gave permission for it to be installed. Another reader has received a barrage of letters from her energy company. Smart meter monitor has monitor how much gas and electric you're using in your home, and they're there so they can just turn you off like that. Oh, it's a rush hour time. It's too much electricity is being used. Right, cap them down. Yeah, turn them off. Smart meters monitor. Yeah. Have you had a similar problem? Contact blah blah blah. This is money. The devices which show the amount of gas and electric being used at home are designed to help customers save money on their bills. No, they're not. But not everyone wants one, and many have found that even after agreeing to one, it stops working after switching. There have been growing concern from the people who have opted out of having a meter, as energy companies have failed to listen to their request. Although the government and energy companies have urged households across the country to get the meters fitted under current legislation, smart meters are optional, and the public have a right to decline having one installed. If your company is refusing to remove it, you send them a letter before action telling them, give them the time scale to remove it. If they've not removed it, you remove it yourself and you send them the bill. RBS admits misleading court to repossess customers' homes. There you go. Royal Bank of Scotland admitting lying in court, committing contempt of court to have people thrown out of their properties. And what happens? Nothing, because it's all working in a grand scheme of throwing you on the street. Lawyers representing Royal Bank of Scotland falsely denied the existence customers' complaint in a court hearing to repossess borrower's home. The case will fuel concerns that banks continue to mistreat customers despite claims to have transferred their culture from after a series of scandals. Richard, a long-time RBS customer who did not wish to give his full name, initially fell into arrears on a NatWest branded mortgage that the bank, some property management fees levied at third party, and basically RBS, just like all banks, are totally corrupt. The solicitors they appoint, totally corrupt. They've been lying in court, committing crimes, and they're getting away with it. And as long as that happens, they'll continue to do it. So if you're facing a court case, their solicitors are lying criminal scum. EU on the brink. Italy plotting to use yellow vests to destroy Brussels as we know it. Italy's five-star movement is plotting to use the growing yellow vest protest movement to shake up the European Union and end the Brussels project. Time is up. Luigi Di Maio, leader of the anti-establishment party, is planning meetings with a number of emerging movements across the continent in order to create a group of direct democracy to challenge the current crop of elitist EU parties. He will also call on the so-called Yellow Vest movement, which has threatened to sink Emmanuel Macron's reign as French president, to help spearhead the People's Revolution in Brussels, according to Laura Ager, five-star movement senior figure in the Belgian capital. She said the meeting between the political leader of five-star movement, Luigi Di Maio, and the leaders of three European emerging formations is a fundamental step of a work that comes from a far from in the last months we have taken with blah 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 blah. Amazon chief's wife deserves her 50 billion. Oh, it's 50 billion. These amounts up and down like a yo-yo. They haven't got a clue. Perfect storm for car makers. Thousands of jobs will be cut. Parenthood. Addition and playing Rumsfeld. A comic grace worth a real legend. The Laurel and Hardy. Japanese PM backs May's Brexit deal. What the hell is it got to do with the Japs? What's going off in this country? So that sounds like more bullshit. 22 million in golden hellos, but trainee teachers didn't see a classroom. The cheese maid goes high tech. Debenhams coup by Mike Ashley. The job's fit for a very modern duchess. Flirting at work in 2019 when the new line's drawn. Can't recycle Britain to burn more than half its rubbish. UK set to double number of incinerators in next decade. Protests expect in communities over fears of air pollution. Climate change concerns as councils struggle to recycle. We need rid of the councils. They are useless and utter criminals. Express. Calling all Miss Marples. Please plea for amateur sleuth to solve crimes. TV host at centre of 110 billion divorce. Michael Gove stuns Commons by perfectly summing up Labour's non-existent Brexit policy in one very naughty but apt word. Finally, someone tells it as it is. If you only produce my question time, nerves. Mirror. 1.2 million Zoe. Why I do deserve this job. Cops demand Ronaldo DNA over sex claim. Bojo Hull amid Brit chaos. Cheat Boris and lover in Greek hideaway. Cad cozies up to young girlfriend at villa where he took family months earlier. And she's clearly in it because she's in love with him. Nothing to do with the fact that he's robbed so many millions and that's why he's a millionaire, like the rest of his family. Utter crooks. The Times. Eating wholemeal bread cuts risks of killer disease by a third. Top cancer expert dies after jab for yellow fever. May calls on union chiefs in bid to say Brexit betrayal. PM has her first ever talk with Len McCluskey. Better workers' rights in exchange for support. For supporting treason. That's what it should say. The Guardian. Now, the good clock rule, the body clock rule for a good night's sleep. What I want you to notice is the all-seeing eye in the top of the paper there, letting you know who is in control of the papers. This is, of course, the Guardian, like I said. Blow to the low-carb diet as WHO reports says fibre cuts early deaths. No deal would hit GDP by 8%, says CBI. New leader for DRC, but was it an electoral coup? Daily Fail. I can help you stay slim forever. Yep. PM orders speedboat killer. Give yourself up. May condemns shocking case as police say Mail campaign is closing net on thing. Yes, May's ordered you to give yourself up. So now, tell her to piss off. How can you can claim your 25,000 reward? TV stars sex text from Mr. Amazon. Waste of space star. Scorcho, weather girl with hots for Amazon billionaire. Sean Corrie, my porn agony. Megastar talks to the star. The Rock smacks down snowflakes. And you can see if you look into his eyes, he's clearly deranged, that bloke. Another fine mess now. There, this is the telegraph. Stan Ollie is a work of genius. Silicon Valley is the new Hollywood. New fears over stars fitness. So if it's the new Hollywood, it must be the new paedophile central then. Trans row as men get access to women's NHS wards. Parasite. EU rules mean Slovakia was free to woo Jaguar Land Rover. Metro. May in Brexit phone plea to unions. PM seeks help to convince Labour MPs as poll shows deal will be rejected. And Cheryl Cole, what that's about, I don't know. Anything but independent. The charter of the country is at stake. Page turners are as good as the classic. Britain is giving Putin what he wants. Film shines light on unsung women. Wall of noise. Trump grandstands over border as US shuts down nears record. May begs unions to help her salvage her Brexit betrayal and treason. But one of the leaders tells PM we'd rather have a final say. Financial Times. The oil-rich nations struggle for stability. That's Libya, of course, the nation that was destroyed by a satanic Luciferian coalition of traitors. Manufacturing giants are redefining themselves. We work, silly rebandoning should go a step further. Port in storm. Japan backs May's deal. Yeah, you can see what he's saying. You got yourself into the shit. You get yourself out, you treasonous bitch. Ford and GLH slash thousands of EU jobs in drive to stem sales slide. Car makers in cost-cutting push. Diesel slow down bites. Warning over no deal Brexit. Yeah. Debenhams chairman and chief ousted as Ashley and investors lose patience. Australian housing dip as sparks fear of recession. So it's here. Well, we know it's been here for quite a while, but we're here in the recession. It's about to bite, because by plan they're saving the crashing of the system till it looks like it's going to be the most desperate. Like hell, everyone's going to figure out that yes, the system is totally corrupt and run by Luciferian, satanic, scumbag, treasonous traitors. Then they'll crash the system and hope to get away while the chaos ensues.
Dennis Healy. World events do not occur by accident. They are made to happen, whether it is to do with national issues or commerce, and most of them are staged and managed by those who hold the purse strings.